Hey, everybody. Welcome to a special Thursday show of TransWorld Live. Of course, we are very, very happy that you're here with us. And unfortunately, we had a little bit tone of difference here that we were planning for this show for our MHC Aftermath. We're definitely going to focus on that. We're going to dive into all of the MHC details in just a little bit. But as you may have seen, some breaking news earlier this week, our dear friend and as many would call the OG of our haunted house industry, Ed Terebus from Erebus Haunted House passed. So we have a nice dedication tonight for him, and we want to celebrate that with you and celebrate those moments. To do this heavy lifting, we'd like to bring on my special co-host tonight, Rich Bianco.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, Rich, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to celebrate all of the MHC successes, and I can't wait to do that. But we agreed we're gonna focus on Ed right now, which is a very tough task.
Yes, yeah. Anytime something like this happens, it's very unfortunate and very hard for all of us to cope with. And Ed, if anyone that knows Ed knows that he was an amazing person. So I don't think we need to let people know that, but he's touched a lot of people in our industry, and unfortunately I only had a short period of time to get to know Ed. I didn't get to know him a lot. Many times I've been around him a lot, but Jen had a lot more encounters with Ed, and some of the guests we'll have on has spent a lot of time with him. But what I know of him is it didn't matter who you were. He would spend time talking to you, give you any bit of information you were looking for, and just a super nice guy.
Couldn't agree more. We're really excited to celebrate everything that Ed was, and certainly the shock that it was for all of us. As people are logging into to our broadcast tonight, we love that you're watching. But if you want to bring a comment, let us know that you're watching. Any thoughts, we'll feature them here on the screen and bring you part of the conversation, because we're doing this together as a community.
Sure. Yep.
And we've got some fun stuff to talk about, but we have a very, very special presentation, both from Dan Faupel and Philip Hernandez, and we'd like to share that with you right now. Unbelievable work from both Dan Faupel and Hernandez to put that together. Of course, we'd like to welcome Miss Jenny Bianco to the stage here. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
I actually can't believe that we're watching that. It's hard to believe.
We wanted the opportunity to not only grieve but support all of us together at the same time when times like this are tough. And so we're very excited to be joined by some people that really knew Ed and could speak on his behalf. So we'd like to welcome to the stage right now Dan Faupel and Ben Armstrong.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Unbelievable work, Dan, on the pictures. I can't even imagine how this is impacting you and your family, your haunt family. You guys work together nearly every day.
Every day, every minute, every day. And there's just no words to describe the man. Like, he was the best of the best. Yeah. And everybody here, we're all picking up the pieces, and everybody here has to step up. And luckily, there's such a huge family here and such a solid foundation that we're actually able to pick up these pieces and run with it. And we're going hard this season for Ed, because that's what he would want.
Absolutely. Well said. And I know, Ben, you guys go way, way back, and you guys have tackled and conquered so many haunt battles over the years. This has to hit very hard as you just come back from vacation and get whisked into this.
Yeah, Ed is such a incredible person, and I think, it's been about 30 years ago when I first met him. We were just starting Netherworld, and I remember we met with him and Jim, and they didn't even have Erebus. They had the Haunted Gallery, and they made all these haunted houses out of trailers, and they connect them all up, and they move them around. But they were so excited they were going to get this building, and they were going to build this monstrosity. And and I would see him over the years, and I keep hearing about it. And then I heard Erebus opened, and a lot of actors would travel to visit us from that part of the world, and they were telling us about the crazy things going on in Erebus. And I remember just my mind was like, "What? What is happening?" And it was so cool. He got to come to Netherworld in the early stages before I got to Erebus. I finally went there and got to see it. This is in the early days. My mind was blown. I mean, I was like, here's an example. There was a room, and it looked like, I don't know, like a Egyptian ruin. And the actor said, "Beware, the creature comes from that small hole." And then we looked, and the entire wall burst open, and a full-size rhinoceros came out on roller skates with a boom arm and would ram into you unless you jumped out of the way. And, I'd heard these stories from Ed before, and it's sort of like, the thing about Ed was that positive energy. He's waving his hands, he's talking, and he's like, "Yeah, the mutant gorilla." He had this little gorilla that would come out and like grab you, and people come out and complain and be like, "Man, that actor, the little guy grabbed me." And Ed's like, "Man, I told him to stop doing that." He was just full of this humor and this creativity. And I tell you, personally and Netherworld, Erebus was always in one of my top attractions because there's a lot of reasons, but one of it was the creativity that came from Ed and his brother Jim. I mean, these guys were always coming up with new stuff, new ideas. And literally we started teaching classes together, and he was always like, "I don't mind showing people what we do, because if they learn what we do, we have to do more new stuff." It pushes us. He literally had that attitude, and he was such a help to the industry. And a big example was the Fear Finder. He used to talk about how Michigan was the haunt capital of the world. And to a degree, I think the Fear Finder helped it be that way. He put out this magazine, and, everyone got the Fear Finder. It was distributed everywhere. So if you're a small haunt, you're starting, you took an ad in the Fear Finder, and that was what brought the people to your door. So he was in the center of that entire world of Michigan haunts, literally helping all that thing grow. And that Fear Finder lasted years. I think it finally stopped during COVID, maybe. And of course, print was kind of fading away. But what an epic thing the Fear Finder was. And that's an example of what Ed did. And that's another amazing thing. Like, literally, he probably has thousands of people that would say they were his friend, because he's just so genuine and so, we got to talk about the cooler, right? He always had his sponsored cooler of beer. He's had one around for 25 years.
Mezzanine.
And it, yeah. Yeah. And it was like, so that's the thing. There's people, it's their first year in the industry. And here's this guy, hey, you want a beer? And they meet Ed Terebus, and he's up on that mezzanine. He's talking to all these people. And, a lot of people, they've got their groups of friends and they're open and they'll share. But literally, a lot of people's first person to meet would be this awesome guy who's like offering them a drink. And, hey, be sure to promote my sponsor, whoever it was that year, And he was talking to everybody, sharing, helping, always smiling. And, he's just, a giant of a man and just everybody's friend. And that's my impression. And personally, I've worked with him on a huge amount of projects over the years. I've been involved in many different organizations with Ed, including the Buyer Board. And we've done a lot of things. We've done a ton of seminars with him. And he was just always a joy. Always a joy. He'd light up a room. I was at an event not long ago, and we had dinner together, and he was telling me about this incredible new attraction that you guys are working on. Just this, we won't talk about it, but a whole new thing. His crazy creativity, his ideas. He's just like having a great time, and this whole thing is horrible, is awful. But when I think of Ed and I feel that the sorrow, I start thinking of the big smile and the gleam in the eye and the excitement, and how in many ways he's affected this industry. He's affected me. He's affected our business. Super excited. My son was married earlier in the year, and Ed and his family were able to come, and I was able. We're in the middle of, after the wedding, we're touring through the haunt, and I got to go with him and his family, and I got to see the joy in their faces. And, they're having a great time, and they're such good people, and they're so full of energy. I was so glad I got to show him off the place, glad he could come and enjoy that moment. And it's just, my experiences are experiences of hundreds of thousands of people in this industry. Ed is just amazing and beloved, and like I said, a friend to all. So I can't say enough about the guy and about his family and about Erebus as an attraction, and as about cornerstone and a cornerstone of creativity. That's something I love. Big effects. How can I scare an entire room of people? And how many times he said, "We're gonna crush them, we're gonna bite them, we're gonna smash them." It was amazing. It's amazing, and I'm sure I'm excited to see the legacy continue. A lot of great people, a lot of family, a lot of industry veterans helping with it. But heck of a guy, and literally, we gotta at the next TransWorld. There's got to be 10 coolers rolling around, and we all got to be toasting Ed that whole night, and heck, some of us got to shave our heads, wear a bald cap, and get that bald guy photo,
You too, Rick.
Yeah, amazing guy.
You're going at.
I got a ways to go, but I can shave it.
Well, when you do 5 shows a year, it'll fall out quick.
Yeah, it's falling out little by little.
Or being married to me.
Yes.
Bad respect.
Yeah,
Dan,
we're learning a lot of interesting things today.
Dan, how's the crew handling everything? How did you guys find out, and what's next for Erebus?
So first of all, well said, Ben. Man, what a great trip there. Because the guy's such a legend and just a titan of this industry, and everybody knew Ed. Everybody, and You know, here, you know, I always say like he had the patience of a saint, you know, literally. And every time I feel like I'm about to lose it or, you know, anything, I always ask myself, what would Ed do? You know, because I always know that would be the right thing to do, you know, because he was such a man of integrity, honesty, loyalty, a family man, not just a savvy businessman, but like he loved his family. And man, my heart just goes out to them. And it's hard, you know, it's freaking hard. And but we're pulling through, and we're all picking up the pieces. Everybody here is stepping up, you know, everybody's taking a piece of the puzzle that he left behind, and we're gonna raise it up, and we're gonna have the most badass season we've ever had, because that's what Ed would want, you know.
Definitely.
I can't even imagine not having Ed at TransWorld. I mean, there wasn't a time whenever Ben and I were talking and planning things, it was like, well, I would call Ed and he's like, what do you want me to speak on? I'm like, anything, just anything to hear you speak. You know, he was always just so kind. He knew when I'd call, he's like, I know why you're calling, Jen. You know, and he
Right.
just, you know, he's such an industry leader. He's so important. And Ben would always talk about his scares and all the things that Ed, you know, could add. And he's like, just ask him what he wants to speak on, Jen. He's like, no matter what it is, it's going to be good. And Ed was always so kind. And I honestly, I don't ever remember being in this business without Ed. I mean, there wasn't a trade show that I've ever produced or been part of that he wasn't involved to some degree.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's really, you know,
Ed-
there's those core people in your life or in your business that I don't want to say take for granted, but you always just assume they're always going to be there. And they're such a big part of everything. And he is such an enormous part of the industry that it's, I didn't believe it when I got the phone call. I didn't believe it. A couple of people asked me, are you sure this is correct? I'm like, I don't know. And I called Dan and I'm like,
Yep.
is this really real? He's
Right.
like, yeah. So
Some people are like, publicity stunt. It's like, no.
no, I think it was hard to believe because he was larger than life. You know, there's very few people I've met that way. One of is my grandfather, and the other one I would have to say is Ed. The way he holds himself, the way he is, he just had charisma. There's nothing bad you can say about him. He was just such an amazing person, and it is such a loss for our industry, for his family, for everyone. And it's just sent shockwaves over the whole industry. I mean, it is horrible, and I can't really find the words to say it, but it's devastating what's occurred. It really is.
Treasure.
One thing I gotta say about him too, which is another amazing thing, is like how he sees life. Like he was living life all the time. And you know, one thing that we can know is that he lived it to the hilt. I mean,
Yeah.
when he was working, you know, he was in, you know, when he was playing, he was in, you know, he'd have these big adventures and go to Thailand and was telling us about all the crazy things he did. And just like, you did what? You ate what? He did, you know, he lived life. And yeah, and he's got, like I said, an amazing family as well. So what a legacy. I mean, family, the haunt, the effect on the industry, it is just, it's kind of overwhelming. And I'm seeing a lot of tributes and things, you know, stuff's kind of come across on media, just even in the city. You know, people are like, it's news stations are covering it. I
Yes.
mean,
Mainstream
everyone
news.
Ed and the Fear Finder and Erebus, and you know, he's such a savvy character to be on television and to talk the place up. I mean, what a bigger than life character. And it's so unexpected because, like I said, he's so full of energy and life, you know. What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that he would outlive all of us. You know what I mean? He was like indestructible, like Superman.
Yeah, that's a really great way to describe him. It really was. And he was just always smiling. Like he was just always happy. And I don't know, he just had great energy, you know.
Room, you know, like not just with his size, he could physically fill the room, but like his energy, his words, his laughs, you know, like his laugh would just like fill a room, you know, boomed.
No, he was great. I mean, he helped out, and like everyone's saying, no matter what you needed, he was on the. He spoke at TransWorld. He was on the TransWorld buyer board. I mean, he was such. I don't think I can stress. He was such an important part of this industry. It is such a loss.
Right.
Old school.
Yeah.
My first trans was back in '97, and that was when I first met Ed, Jim.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, I used to have long hair back in the day. And I shaved it. Like I had scars all over my head when I was working for Market Creative Visions.
Yeah.
Ed came by my booth and he's like, dude, I got a good razor for you. And he like brought me a razor the next day. And like that changed my life. I still use that same razor to this day to shave my head. And I would pass that on to several other dudes too.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I guess I'm lucky. I did not have that experience with him, and I'm glad. So.
Ben wasn't ready to shave his head.
Well, soon enough.
We were lucky a couple years ago. We got to tour the haunt for Midwest Haunters
There's
Convention.
a thousand amazing Ed stories to tell. Just
Oh, so many.
and
Yeah.
I just love to, you know.
We always enjoyed like hearing
for
the same stories over and over and over, and it was always entertaining, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love it. I'd love it when there was someone new. You're like, hey, Ed, tell him the one about, you know, whatever it was. And he'd be like, yeah, let me tell you the story, you know. And you're like, oh, he's going into this is a good one. I want to hear this again. And it's their first time, so it's going to be great. I like to hear about all the scares. I just remember all the crazy things in that haunt. Like I said, you know, the mutant gorilla. What about it's still there, I think. You go down this corridor and these doors, they're closing you in little rooms and you're going to get crushed by these things. You're like, what is happening to me? Because you know, if you don't get out of the way there, you're going to get mauled. You know, the spinning. I heard the story of the spinning things, and so we went and made some out of ice cream motors just because, like, that's a crazy idea, you know. Man, I remember seeing they had little ping pong paddles with speakers in them, and in a blackout, they'd have them. The actor would run them around your head, so it sounded like bats were flapping, and they would move them with their hands. They had the above tracks. Of course, well known, he was probably one of the progenitors of the laser swamp, the lasers and the airbags and all that. He was one of the first haunts that did that.
The push out,
a lot of things there. They had. I remember when. And always all these things about just like the catapult that would fly up and then the body would actually hurl and land on you. That was a good one.
That's awesome.
They had a door. It was a door, and you had to leave the room. So you grabbed the knob, and then the drop panel was behind it. So you went right up to the door, and the drop panel fell, and you got a really good scare because you were part of that. Of course, all the giant spiders, the mega grabber, which is like a huge carpet monster sliding at you, bump into you, and then just grab you. You know, you're like, what? It's pulling you away. It was like on a track. Oh man, so many great. Of course, and in later years, of course, the Buried Alive, just the new stuff kept coming and coming. What a fun place. It was like a you know, I don't know, like some kind of death machine you're going through. You know, all this it was all gags. That's the thing. Our industry now, and it's fine, it's great, but a lot of times we're fixated on making these sets that are beautiful, realistic, detailed, excellent makeup, actors, you know. But Erebus was about gags, you know, scares. It was a different kind of creature. And it's that uniqueness is so exciting. I love going to haunts where I'm like, I've never seen that before. And Erebus was based on that whole, you know, we're going to make something unique. And I mean, that's a call to arms for me and for everybody, I think, is just keep trying to push the envelope with new stuff that's different, that's creative, that's clever. It's just a benchmark for Erebus. And, you know, like I said, and, you know, Ed and Jim both and the whole family, everyone there, just a great bunch of guys, and talented and creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone
Lots of-
mentioned the T-Rex mouth. Oh my gosh, the giant biting mouth, the classic. Take you off your feet and pull you away. Awesome.
Did you see the giant pumpkin that we made this last year that like eats you? You have to like go into its mouth.
No, I didn't see it.
Fantastic.
No,
Only Ed would let me get away with things like that.
that's what I love. When he came to visit, I could be like, "Look at our giant biting thing. Look at our thing that does this. Look at
Like, what if we
know."
eat the
It's 'cause
people
it's
and they
like,
just
I
take a
love that stuff.
load? Yeah. It's like, that sounds awesome. Yeah. Do it.
I can
Well, it's-
imagine you guys sitting around, in your work area, going like, "What are we going to do now? I don't know. Like, we'll make a giant hammer that's going to smash someone." There's a clown. He's like, "Stand there," and then you're like, "What?" And just wham, this hammer comes in.
It's like that was our brand, and that's what I loved about Ed so much. It was like,
Man.
if it wasn't extreme and over the top, then it's like, get the F out of here,
Dan, as you guys were
So,
sitting in that, go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, it's like, here's a guy, it's passed, and it's extremely sad, and we're all, it's bad, it's terrible. But every time I conjure him up in my mind, I can't help but smile, because of all the things.
Who he is, yeah.
It's just,
He's dead.
I'm gonna carry him with me the rest of my life, is like, that's how to be, except I'm not gonna do that crazy thing. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
This actually feels surreal that we're actually here talking about Ed, that he's passed away. I actually can't believe it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem real.
No, I said it to a few folks earlier. I was waiting for someone to say, no, that's wrong. He has not died. It is all good. Like, it just didn't seem real. Dan, when you
kind of put into perspective, about about how you should, seize the moment and live your life and do what you can do in the biggest way possible, and treat people with kindness and all this stuff. I mean, absolutely, it really it kind of points that out, because you never know, accidents can happen to anybody, and
should live life to the fullest. True, you're right.
Yeah. Do it. Exactly.
Well, Dan's frozen, maybe.
Yeah, he moved around, so I
think-
think we might have lost him. Yeah.
I think we lost Dan for a second. Keep the comments coming, everybody. We really appreciate you sharing, and this is amazing. And certainly the folks that are commenting in about him being a legend, being a legacy, being larger than life. Boy, could that not be more accurate? And if you haven't had a chance to meet him, you at least knew he was in the room. You at least knew he was in the convention center, because the whole place lit up.
Yeah.
Agree.
I
Jen,
think next year,
go ahead, Ben.
we need
Sorry.
to have a competition, like the Ed Terebus Scare of the Year. Everyone submits their most outrageous, crazy, over the top, unique scare, and gets the Ed Terebus trophy, which is probably, like I said, a cooler, but or a mutant gorilla. I don't know. I'm not sure. So and talking about him right now is literally, I've talked about him like this many times to people. There's this guy. He's crazy. He's, literally, I talk about him like that all the time. We're talking about these seminars. We'll do the scare seminar, and he'll do this. He's great. So it's kind of funny. When doing the seminars, you wouldn't think it, but he was actually a little nervous to do them.
Yeah,
I'm like, how are you nervous? He's like, man, I'm nervous in front of a group of people. I'm like, you? You're like confidence incarnate. How are you nervous? You know, it's like, man. But of course, the minute we get going, he's on. You know, he's on stage.
Jen mentioned it earlier. We had a chance to see Erebus during one of our recent MHC tours, and we had pulled up, and it was amazing because he came out and just bubbly and boisterous and just ready to go. Where is everybody? Let's go. Let's get him out of the buses. Let's party. Let's go. And he grabbed you a big bear hug around Mandy from Ticket Spice and I, and said, "All right, let's give everybody a good show." And
He was amazing.
So
Seriously.
sorry, guys, I lost you. I had to go find power elsewhere. My phone died.
no, we're glad you're back. We're glad you're back. We can hear you.
Dan,
And also,
or
too,
Ben.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that I've gotten a lot of emails of people asking questions about when the funeral is or the celebration of life. Does anyone know anything more? Because I know there's a lot of
Yeah,
people
so
in the industry that
Friday
would
there's a viewing, but the family prefers to keep that more to, close to like family and close friends. It did get publicly announced, so, but the funeral home's really small and the parking lot's small, but the following morning, Saturday morning, we're doing a huge vigil here at Erebus Haunted House. And we're inviting like the entire city of Pontiac, anybody that knew Ed in any way, shape, or form, even if they just heard about him, they want to celebrate his life and honor the legend. They can come out here at 8:45 a.m. on this coming Saturday. And yeah, we're gonna throw it out. Like we got a big production plan, and the hearse that'll be carrying his coffin will be driving around the haunt, and they're going to park out in front for about 10 minutes. So anybody that wants to come celebrate the life of this man, myth, and legend, Saturday morning is the time to come.
So, Dan, is there still going to be a celebration of life in the summer, like where the industry is going to?
That's to be determined, but yeah, we're going to have a big party too. It's probably going to be in July.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going to rent a pavilion at a big park near here. And yeah, it's going to be a huge throwdown, and we're going to go big, just like Ed does, like we're going to make it big, larger than life, just like the man.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Well, thank you for clearing that up, just because I didn't have all that information. So I was, I've heard a couple of different things of what people should or shouldn't, what would be appropriate. So I'm glad that you mentioned all those things.
Right.
Yeah, when we get final details, we'll announce that to all our guests, and in the industry, there's a lot of people in the industry that would like to come and pay tribute to Ed.
Absolutely.
Right. Come Saturday morning. Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. I know there's never enough time to be able to talk about the stories, to talk about the remembrance. And did you want to share any final thoughts before we move for tonight? Just pause this until our next time we get together.
Just, hug your loved ones really tight. Tell them how much you care about them, and just be nice to everybody, man. And whenever you're like in doubt, just ask yourself, what would Ed do?
It's good guidance.
Yeah.
That's good guidance.
That's literally be nice, help your fellow people in this industry, and just
be kind,
be a good person, and be challenged by the legacy of Ed and Erebus to go for excellence and uniqueness, and but do it with the same grace and honor that he always showed.
Yep.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you for the good words.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Thank
want
you.
to thank our panel and Jen and Rich. Anything that you want to say before we close out this segment?
I just want to say that I think that TransWorld is a better show, and we're all better for knowing Ed. He made a huge impact. You can't say that about everyone, but he left his mark. And his family should be very proud, and his hunt was amazing, and his contribution to this industry has been amazing.
Yes.
So I just want to thank him. Thank
His
everyone.
kids just started getting involved with the hunt, and like we're committed to keeping them here. They're like 12 and 14, and they just got out of school. We just went to his son Ziggy's graduation ceremony last night, and yeah, overwhelming, heartwarming, and yeah, we're going to be bringing them up here to the hunt, teaching them things, teaching them how to build things, because that's what Ed would do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Tater, great comment. The hunt industry is a better place because of Ed. We agree. We concur. Well, we want to thank you all. Thank you. And please keep the comments coming. You don't need to stop that now. By all means, we'll keep you updated as soon as Dan and the family give us more information. We'll spread that to all of you so we can continue to celebrate the life of Ed Terebus. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And there's more information on the Erebus socials about the vigil Saturday morning. So
All right.
anybody that's interested in participating, please check out the Erebus socials. All the details are posted there.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Ben.
We appreciate you.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Love you guys.
Love everyone.
Love you too.
Bye.
All right, guys, hold on for 1 second. We're going to have a quick commercial break here and thank our sponsor. All right, we are back, and we've got a lot to celebrate because we just had an amazing weekend in Rosemont doing Midwest Haunters Convention. And Rich, outstanding job as always, because that floor was packed with people. It was crazy, and it doesn't even feel like it was just this last weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting because these shows, pardon me, now that we have 3 back-to-back, you know, it's a 3 in a row. It gets tougher and tougher, and MHC didn't disappoint. I mean, there were actually a lot of people came. They did well. The vendors did well. That's what matters to us most. And you know, the tour was great. There were a lot of great things to talk about on the show floor, which we'll get into tonight, and some great vendors. We couldn't be more satisfied.
That's awesome. For those that were there, certainly we'd love you to share your favorite parts of the weekend. But as Rich talked about, we had a great opening. We started with a viewing of Haunt Season. We actually had the cast and crew here on TransWorld Live, talked a little bit about that. And then they were live and in person answering questions and debuting the movie to our audience. And then on Friday night, we had our exclusive tour of Abandoned Haunted House right north of the Illinois-Wisconsin border, which was amazing. And then everybody got a chance to see that insane floor that Rich put together on Saturday morning, and just chock full of great vendors and great exhibitors from door to door. We had haunted houses. We had characters running amok. We had the Olympics running crazy. And congratulations, of course, to our very first Olympic awardees. Third place was 5 Points Haunted House. Second place, Basement of the Dead and Disturbia. And bringing home the inaugural trophy here, Hell's Gate. So that was
very nice.
A lot of fun there. And then, of course, we capped off the entire evening with the MHC costume party, which the pictures were out of this world. I mean, it didn't do it justice just to see them in pictures. In person, it was crazy with a brand new entertainment crew. And it was it was lively.
Yeah, it was neat. I mean, just to step back to the vendors and stuff, the interesting thing about MHC that I guess some people that have never been, these are regional shows, you know, Midwest and East Coast. They're not meant to compete with TransWorld in any way or be a substitute for TransWorld. The difference with them is it's very interesting. And it's interesting because someone had made a comment online, there's no vendors there. This is terrible. I don't know any of these vendors. Well, that's the cool part about it, because the majority of these new shows or these regional shows are vendors from the areas, or they're generally what we would call the minor leagues, where new vendors are coming in and testing the waters in the haunted And to be honest, this is where you find a lot of those diamonds in the rough. I mean, myself, I actually bought off of a company, I think it's called Wicked Heads or something like that. Pardon me for not knowing the exact name, but I bought this. I walked out to them 2 minutes before the show ended, and I was eyeing a character, and I never had a chance to buy it, and I ended up purchasing the character and another piece off of the guy. And what I really liked about it is I haven't seen anything like it in the industry. It was kind of cool, and that goes to say with a lot of vendors. So I think what's cool about these shows when you come to them is you're going to find stuff that you generally don't find at TransWorld, because there's a significant, even though we bring a lot of vendors from TransWorld that are our mainstay that come to all of our shows and they do well, there's a lot of locals and new vendors and stuff that come. And just because you don't recognize the list doesn't mean that there aren't good vendors there. That would be an insult to the vendors that do attend. And I can tell you the floor was sold out. So, we filled the floor. Great amount of vendors, and the ones that did come did an amazing job. Some of them, like I said, and some you don't, but the ones that you don't know, you missed out. You definitely want to, attend this show in the future. You want to attend East Coast, if after TransWorld, because they are great shows for follow-up and meeting new exhibitors. So.
Agreed. And then you have some fun people on the floor. Of course, you have actors dressed up, but we're talking in the chat about Ed and Marcia from Distortions, a sighting from them on the floor, which was great.
Yeah, they come to the show just to support and hang out. For some of the smaller shows, it's tough for Ed and Marcia to continue to exhibit at those. They used to do it in the past, but they really like the big presence, and these smaller shows aren't really designed for that. Most of the larger haunts have made their large purchases already and things like that, and for them to bring like one or two booths, it's not a fit for them. So they come and support and hang out and try to meet some of their customers and just hang out and get to see the floor, because they don't get a chance to do that at any show. They got a lot of work tied up into those types of things. So that's kind of different. It was fun for them. And you had mentioned the ball. We went a little different direction this year, and we love all our DJs and the people that have supported us over the years. We did try to do something different this year. We actually used a different DJ that is a little different than a DJ. They're actually an entertainment company, and they focus on the entertainment in the room and getting people involved, even those that don't normally want to get up and dance. And I can tell you that floor was filled the entire time from start to finish. I actually had to turn the lights on at the end of it to kick everyone out. Those guys did an amazing job. We plan to do continue enhancing that ball. That's going to be the focal point in the future. We have a lot of ideas that we're working on, and we definitely want to enhance the costume contest, because we feel it's a big part of it, and that's what people get excited about, getting dressed up, coming there and competing in that contest. And kudos to those winners. There were some amazing costumes that won. One of my favorites was the one from Disturbia, where the girl had like actual fog coming out of her arms and stuff, where it looked like she was smoking. She had like burn marks, and it was really cool. Even though I teased those guys and said we rigged it so they would win, because they're friends of mine. But that costume was actually amazing. It definitely deserved first place, and I had nothing to do with the judging. But it was great that she actually did win. They did a great job. So that kind of stuff is a lot of fun to watch, and we would like to see that costume contest become a bigger thing and a bigger part of that party. So looking forward to that in the future. And we do have some ideas. We do have some people that getting a little up there in age, including myself, where you can't handle the loud blasting music the entire time, but they want to be part of the networking and hang out and kind of be a people watcher. So we do have some plans to do some stuff out in the foyer area, or potentially moving the ball to a different location there, and provide an area for people to sit outside the ball to be able to enjoy, watching folks. And if they want to walk in for a few minutes, so be it. They can go in and check out the dance floor and have their drinks and whatnot, but be able to still network outside the ball. So those are some things
nice
for the future. So that'll be fun.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, we're getting some great comments in the chat. Of course, our premier show sponsor, Froggy's Fog, had a great show. Minor Mendoza also said he had a great show. Alex Berlin with Haunt Dolls said they had a great show. It's great to see those positive comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
It-
a lot of vendors did come to us even on Saturday was amazing. We had record-breaking numbers on Saturday. Sunday's always slow, so it was a little slower on Sunday. But a lot of folks said they did more business on Saturday than they did both days last year, which was great to hear. Some people just said it was amazing. They were actually kind of surprised. And the interesting thing was there was quite a few haunts that came that weren't from the area, and that's we do get some, but like it's not normal. These shows literally are regional. Like the one in Philly, 90% of attendance is from the greater Philadelphia area, and this one would be the same. It's mostly Chicagoans and the surrounding area. But it was interesting. I had to fix some tickets for one haunt that was from Tennessee, and they brought like 17 people. So it's neat to see like, some like that to come. So, if you don't make it to TransWorld or you have the opportunity, these shows are neat. You get a way better experience, on a one-to-one level, and you do find some diamonds in the rough there. The vendors.
We want to give credit, of course, to the Hops family because they always mention about TransWorld being, for the stuff, and this is for the people. East Coast and Midwest are for the people, but you could pick up some great stuff at East Coast and Midwest as well. Some cash and carry items that you can put right in your backpack or in the trunk of your car.
Yeah. And that's good. I mean, as you see, Tater posted, he had orders from Vegas, Arizona, Virginia, Tennessee, and Canada. I mean, it was interesting. We were kind of surprised by some of the people that did travel to it, but don't ever knock it unless you checked it out. So like there were some amazing vendors there, and it was really cool to see some new stuff. I love seeing new products always.
Always, which brings us to a great segue because one of the newest products that we've gotten a chance in this convention season, starting in TransWorld and now ending with Midwest Haunters Convention, is Illumibot. And boy, has this just changed everything. And I'll let you talk because there's no one that's a bigger fan of this product. And it's pretty revolutionary.
Yeah. So like, myself, I feel like my job at TransWorld is to find new products and new vendors that can excite our haunts and our Halloween events and Christmas events. And Illumibot, they happened to call us, and Ross, the owner, was kind of like on the fence of what he should do. Should I be exhibiting at both shows? What do I do? This, that, whatever. And we talked a lot, and I hearing about the product, I thought it was really cool, but you never know what it is. People, that own the product always talk up their own product and generally make it more than what it is. But what I will tell you is the interesting thing about Illumibot is I actually feel that on the show floor, it doesn't describe what this product is actually capable of. And the way I see it in my eyes is every haunt should know about it. Every haunt should look into it. And every haunt should learn and play with it because it is the future. It's actually way ahead of the future. I mean, we all know projection mapping has been around for years, but the majority of us that have even dabbled into it, I've had other projection mapping companies at the show, and you couldn't, touch a system in mapping for under $100,000. Most of them are more like 300,000. Sure, you could buy a projector for anywhere from like $500 to thousands, tens of thousands of dollars if you want to spend it. And then, the mapping was always what was very expensive. This product is basically child-proof. What I would describe it as being able to map it. And the interesting thing is I had these guys out to my home on Thursday. We just planned it that way because I bought one I'd gotten one from these guys, and they wanted I told him, I said, I'm not tech savvy. I'd love to, if you're in town, then you could stop by my home and maybe show me how to use it. And they were nice enough to do that. They stopped the night before we were setting up for the show and came and put on a demonstration. So it kind of blew my mind.
So I want to highlight that for a second because it's so exciting. Like this is a great product, and Tater put that in the chats too as well. You see it on the show floor. But to your point earlier, Rich, you said that only goes so far to see it live and demoing. So you put on this entire trade show. We do Midwest Haunters Convention. You've got to be exhausted. And the show continues at your house with a lot of guests, and you're featuring Illumibot. Do you think We should bring Ross out here. We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Okay, so this is the true after party here.
Yeah.
What's up, Ross?
What's up, Ross? Oh, no audio.
I'm
unmuted. I got it. I got to tell you one thing. The previous segment, when I talked to Rich the first time about, okay, do I do this? Like, I don't know. I don't even know what this TransWorld stuff is. Since then, I have been to all three, and I had no idea that TransWorld isn't an industry group. This is a family. If I've ever seen a family like this and it's not just a family, but it's a family of like some of the craziest, biggest dreaming kind of the entrepreneurial, it's just that caliber of person that's friendly, that'll help you out, but dreams big and thinks crazy. And that has been amazing. And I have loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a great way to describe this industry. And that's kind of how, like, I feel like even with the vendors, like most of them have my cell number. They know me by first name. I walk into their booths. I talk to them. If they have a bad show, that means I had a bad show. So I want to see everyone do well. But the interesting thing about your product that I liked, and honestly, a Sunday night after the show, it would take a lot for me to want to invite people to my home to do this. And there were just so many people that had purchased the product and hadn't had the opportunity to dabble with it yet because they have so many things going on. And I was like, listen, man, I just had this demonstration done at my house, and I don't feel that the booth does justice to what this product really is. I said, there's nothing replacing seeing it work live. So, I had told a few people, and they some that never had tried it came, and some that had bought them and hadn't had time to use them. So, and we had actually kicked around. I had said to Jen, we're really trying to figure out some innovative seminars and things like that can really help our vendor or our event owners, the haunted house owners and Halloween and Christmas event owners, because it's our duty to make sure they're making money every year. We got to find ways for them to continue to create new and make money. And that's why I really believe in this product. I think it's cool that it's something that you can illuminate a room, you can illuminate the outside of your building, you can illuminate your home, you can illuminate a small wall in your house, in your bedroom. There's all kind of things to do, and I think we're just scratching the surface of what the capabilities are. And the cool thing about your company is that you guys are willing to learn within the industry and find out what these needs are. And that's kind of why I put the seminar, or we'll call it a seminar, at my home. It was kind of a get-together that we just threw together. But future plans are we would love to, maybe in the future at different locations, try to find a home and do this on, because we think it's great for people to see it in person.
It was a lot of fun. It's great to see it. For me, it's great to just nothing planned. Let's just see what happens. So there was no canned thing. We set that thing up in about 20 minutes, had some dinner that you graciously provided. Jen took care of us really, really well. We really appreciate her. And then had to wait for it to get dark. And then once it did, we had a good time. I have a little 2.5 minute recap, if we want to play that, of our experience at Rich's house.
Yeah.
After the show, the Bianco family had a group of us out, fed us well.
Going off of that one, guys, explain to them what, if you went down and up, what effects you're going to have on.
We talked about projectors, about alignment, about all kinds of things about projection mapping, and then just started throwing out prompts. Whatever they came to their mind, that's what we threw on the house.
Look at that! I love that! Oh, I love that! Oh, that's great.
We started off doing cool still image work.
So this one right here, I didn't say words for this one. Let me show you how I made this particular prompt.
And then I'm going to hit enhance to let AI spice up that prompt a little bit and add some detail.
And then as we progressed, we tried other things, different holidays, jumped into some animations, really just had a lot of fun. Everything we did here was really just draft mode. We didn't do upscaling on anything, and it still looked pretty great.
Can you imagine that? Somebody driving down your street.
They're like, what?
And you're like, that's so dope.
We all come walking out of robes.
Yeah, in robes. Yeah, that's so cool. So now Rich went from riches to rags right here. There you go. Rich, we're just going to leave your house like that.
My neighbors will have one.
Yeah, they'd be bulldozing your house.
I'm going to let my
Yeah, let your grass grow up.
Oh, that's magic, Ross. Holy cow.
That'll be.
Playing with an Illumibot is just free play.
All right, now call your neighbors.
Call the fire department. What if you did this at someone's house and then you sent them a video and said your house is on fire?
Oh, yeah. Bro, this is your house.
Bro, your house is burning.
Bro. Raising your hands in the air like you just don't care. That's what that prompt was. Okay.
All good things must come to an end. We had a good time. We did a lot of things. We learned a lot of things. Had some wins and some fails. It grew late. The neighbors were probably tired of us hanging out in the front yard. But we had a great time, and I just want to really thank our host, the Bianco family, for letting us come in and just have a blast on their house. It was amazing. It was. It was. It was a blast. I just, for me, just chilling in the yard, hanging out with people, and cranking out stuff. That is just fun. We're about the projector is about 25 feet back from the house. We were using a BenQ short throw projector, one of the top of the line, really good projectors. Rich already had that, so just got it in, set it up, and had fun.
Yeah, and a lot of people are, probably wondering the same things I wondered whenever this started. I mean, it's not as expensive as people think. I mean, you're basically buying the Illumibot hardware that retails around $300, and then the projector is. I mean, Ross can probably speak on many different projectors you can get. Obviously, there's short, the standard throw and the short throw. I chose a short throw because of the quality of what it was, and BenQ was at our show at TransWorld, and they're offering some discounts, and I think Ross can help with a lot of that kind of stuff. But you're basically buy a projector, an enclosure for the projector, you buy the hardware, and then there's some tokens involved and things like that for doing some animations on your home. But for me, I think I'm gonna have mine installed and leave it up year round. I'm gonna use it for birthdays. I'm gonna use it for holidays. I do a Halloween display in front of my home. I'm gonna really enhance it with this year. The money is spent on that, and I'll get a lot of props. But what's awesome is I can take my house now, pick a theme, decide on what that illumination is going to be, and then come to the show and purchase things to enhance what I'm trying to do on my home. And that's what I love about it. So, if you have a lot of questions and things like that, what's great is when you call most businesses, you don't know who you're talking to. Ross actually answers the phone, or the other staff that was on site, and it's been very helpful. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's a blast. We're learning, we're working out kinks, we're finding out what people want. So we're kind of very fluid in how we fix things. Since we went to the first show, we did a lot of interactive things for escape rooms and stuff. We've done we just keep shifting it and moving it towards the target of what people want, and we'll learn. So it's just great to be part of the family that helps us figure that out.
Yeah.
Well, Ross, we have a question from the audience that I'm sure a lot of people are asking, and Bobby Wiener just happens to be asking this from Bloody Mary. How does one get one for their house?
Yeah, that's Illumibot.ai. Real easy. Just go there, hit that cart. We're actually having to get our inventory resupplied. We're getting all that readied up. So we've got some there that we can get shipped to you, and reach out via text. My number will be on the site as well. It's 601-434-4099. You can text me and we can set up time to help you figure out what kind of projector you need. That's kind of the biggest barrier for a lot of people is like, I don't know how to do this. So we'll help you. We'll help you figure that out and take the mystery out of it and make it easy.
Yeah, and something else Ross didn't mention, like the cool thing about it is sure, you can do your own prompts. Prompts are basically talking to AI and with adjectives and descriptives that you want your house to look like, or whatever, your facade, or whatever your canvas is going to be. That's what a prompt is. And it basically, you just speak into it. My son had come out and he's like, Dad, I'd like to do Alvin and the Chipmunks, and that's all he said. And then it just created an Alvin and Chipmunks, and Simon Theodore and Alvin were in different windows and on the porch and things. And the more description you give, the more it can do. So it's pretty simple. But the cool thing that I like about it, and as this thing grows, there's a community. And the community allows any one of us that creates our own prompt to share it with others, and others can just take our prompt and enhance it for our facade or our canvas, which is really cool. Because how it is. This industry is extremely creative, and I feel in a year from now, this product will not be anything like it is now. It's going to be so different. So.
Agreed. Yeah, it was really fun. Actually, some of the stuff you saw in Rich's house came from what other people did. We just clicked on it and hit try it on my house, and it will reshape the image to your house. So that's how that worked. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And to know that it's always evolving. I know, Ross, when we had you on the show just a couple of months ago, I'm sure things have changed even since then and progressed.
Well, the two-edged sword here is the reason this is possible at all. The inspiration to make this happen a few years ago was AI hit the scene, and AI can do all this amazing stuff that took us weeks and months to build, can be done in minutes and seconds now. That's the one positive. The other is it is like drinking out of a fire hose, keeping up with all the new models coming out. Google has Veo 3. It's mind-blowing. And we're just kind of pivoting and incorporating those things and learning. So we're doing our best to not only evolve the product, but keep up with where AI is going so that you don't have to, so that you just, hey, cool, new feature, let's use it.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody had posted like it would be cool to see it at the costume ball, like a whole wall done.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that because we're thinking about ideas like that for next year. We had talked with Ross and Illumibot about potentially doing something at the front of the convention center in St. Louis. So we're working. We have some ideas. We know a lot of you hang out in front of the Marriott till wee hours of the morning, hours of the morning. You're out there till 4, including Ed, Terebus, like everybody.
We love it.
Spend time out there. So we're thinking of doing some type of show or something like that. Those are all in the works, and again, this product will continue to evolve.
That would be a fun prompt party when everybody's drunk at 4 a.m. There will be some very interesting prompts on the wall. We'd have to use a very special model for that.
Yeah.
And since both of you are active users, we did have a comment. So you don't need to be a computer programmer. You don't need to be an engineer. It works right from your phone, right?
Oh, I'm like the worst. That's the beauty of it all, and I know Ross, it's easy for him to explain it, but coming from me as somebody who doesn't own the product, know the product, the great thing about it is that you can use your cell phone to do it all. That's what really
That's awesome.
attracted me. And I love the fact that I had a small tree in front of my house, and the projector was illuminating some of the light on the back of the tree. And I said to Ross, I don't like that because when people are walking by, you can see it's fake. And how do we get rid of that? And he just took the phone and went like this and erased it. And what the hell? So like, it's crazy. Deleted the bushes in front of my house, and we deleted the tree in front of the house, and it only illuminated on the house. And then it was also picking up on the 2 houses beside me, and we just erase them with your fingers. And in the past, you had to get somebody to come in with a computer and do all this mapping, and it takes an extensive amount of time. Again, the reason why I was so adamant about doing this in my house, because the last thing I want to do on a Sunday night after we produce a trade show is go back to my house and bring a bunch of people there and entertain and do this. But, we felt it was needed, and the people were in town. And I can't, state this enough, that you do not understand how it works until you see it actually live. It's different in the booth.
Yeah. We're gonna do better. We're evolving the booth too to try to capture some of that. I'm gonna try to put Rich's house in my booth. Maybe that'll even work.
Maybe that'll help. Yeah.
Right. But it really was a phone and your voice. That's kind of what we preach: is your phone. You hit prompt and you say stuff, and then that stuff shows up on your wall.
Yeah.
And there's more. For the advanced users, we give you a lot of stuff. But on the simple side, that's kind of, so I could do a computer software program. Maybe I will on the computer one day, but I'm very adamant. Just phone in your pocket and your voice.
Yeah, that's how we all work these days too. So,
Yeah.
and things will be evolving. Ross is graciously going out to a few different haunted houses to learn what you guys are looking for, to see what, he needs to provide with the tech, to be able to do things that you're trying to do at your haunted house. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask him things. He loves getting new ideas and trying to figure out how to implement those.
I'll be at a hunt in North Carolina next week, just figuring it out, and
Yeah, and
it's gonna be
speaking of
fun.
which, you'll be in another one in Atlanta, which everyone could probably guess which one that is. I spoke to the owners there, and those dates seem to work well, so I will put you in contact with them afterwards. So, these guys will get to see firsthand how to do it and learn what type. The hardest question is, what type of projector do I need? And a lot of those questions can be answered based on, what type of canvas you're going to have.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. And sounds like you've got an open invitation to Still Be Studios down in Texas, and of course over to Tater's Farm in Columbus, Ohio. So
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm going to have a lot of fun.
Yep.
very nice. Well, it's a pleasure, guys. And before we wrap this up, anything else you want to say about the experience at MHC this year?
MHC was great. You know what's great about MHC? The sales and all that stuff were great. I mean, I loved being there. It's the before and the after and the connections and the networking. If anybody is ever considering going to MHC or Philadelphia or TransWorld, it's all of that magic. I'm telling you, that is just where it's at. So for me, it was worth every penny, and I just really absolutely couldn't be more grateful to join as the newbie to a pretty cool family.
Yeah. Well, we're excited about your product, Ross, and we appreciate the enthusiasm about the shows. It's people like you that make it what it is.
Yeah.
We're always looking for new stuff, and I have a feeling you're going to be very busy over the next couple of years.
Bring it on.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks, Ross. Appreciate you and appreciate everything you're doing. Like Rich had said earlier, I'm sure when we reconnect starting early part of 2026 and get ready for TransWorld, everything's going to change. It's going to be this all new upgraded version with arms and legs and walking around and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. And then Ross, just to explain that, because some people may think of that like, oh, is there going to be a, new hardware? I don't know that that'll change. I think it's just constant evolution of the software, you know what I mean? Which is part of the product. It's not like you're buying something new. So, it's just the product. So.
We push updates over the air and through the app on a very regular basis. Just as we create new things, we push them out, roll them out. As AI evolves, we push it out, roll it out, and as we learn and we fail and we repeat, we push it out, roll it out. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, even at my house that night, there were a couple guys that came that never even had seen the product and whatever, and they came, they were blown away. They couldn't say enough about it. And they were like, "Can we follow you back to your truck and pick up a couple of them?"
They did. They gave us a ride and then picked up some stuff. It was like, deal.
Yeah.
It was good.
Making deals in my front yard. So.
That's right. Dope.
We talked real quick about the support community that you have on Facebook, which is wonderful. We do have a question. Are there additional how-to videos on YouTube?
Yes, YouTube is where we do some videos. I actually have, shame on me for this, I've got a massive bank of like full install videos, all this stuff, and I've just got to get them released. I've got to get them polished and out. So we'll be starting to flood out a lot more how-to videos. But we have stuff on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, X. We have content on all those things. Mostly for the how-tos will be YouTube.
Love it. And anybody can look back at the TransWorld live show where you did an amazing demo from start to finish.
We picked up some sales from that, just where people go, dude, I wasn't even looking for that. And then they watched me. Basically, everybody just prompted on my house. We did kind of a jam session on my house remotely.
Yes.
And kind of went through the whole soup to nuts on that. And that was a lot of fun. That was a blast.
Yeah. Well, we're grateful for you. Thank you so much for everything you're doing, and can't wait to see you grow and evolve and see what's next, because this is changing everything.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, and have a good summer.
Thanks, Ross.
All right. It's just crazy. Great MHC. Before we move on and highlight some other vendors, anything you want to talk about with MHC?
No, I'm just very happy with the show. I'm excited. Some of the one of the other vendors you're going to have on tonight, Jen and I plan on buying some tombstones from.
Yeah.
Has really good products. So it'll be cool to watch that segment of the show, and just very happy with all the folks that actually came and supported the show. We appreciate that, and looking forward to the legendary Hauntor that's coming up in November, where we're visiting Utah, which is one of my favorite places. I love the haunts out there, and the whole show and the atmosphere and everything is one of my favorites. I can't wait for that. And then obviously TransWorld's next. So looking forward to that. Anybody looking for booth placement and things like that, we'll start working on TransWorld. We're going to take a week off next week and actually try to vacation, which we never do. And
What? What's that?
get right back onto that show and start setting up the floor there. So looking forward to it.
Well, certainly, Rich, it's such a pleasure. And thanks for being here on behalf of you and Jen. Obviously, it's always a pleasure for all of us to be able to hang out at any of those opportunities. For those that are looking for Legendary Haunt Tour tickets, legendaryhaunttour.com for all the details. 4 amazing haunted houses in Utah, which will be wonderful. And like Rich said, stay tuned to all the social medias and our channel here for more announcements as we come out of summer.
Sounds great. All right, Chris,
All
I'll
right.
let you wrap this up and do the rest of the show. And great being on with you.
A pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Well, guys, don't go anywhere here because we're not even done yet. We've got more people to highlight. We're super excited for our very next guest. You definitely saw him roaming all over MHC because they were everywhere and they helped capture some of the most beautiful moments of MHC. TransWorld Live, help us in welcoming Mr. Chris Wilkes from the Wilkes Family Halloween Display. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? I'm
How-
super excited to be here. Kind of shocked that it's taken this long for you to have me on, but
I know.
Here we are. So we're gonna make the most of it.
We are beyond excited. We are beyond. I mean, literally, you were everywhere. We were calling you omnipresent, just everywhere throughout the floor. But your media and everything that you captured was unbelievable. Just killer.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. For me, so for the first time ever, I went to TransWorld, East Coast, and now finished off in my home base, which is the Midwest Haunter Convention that I've been going to for a really, really long time because it's right by my house, which is awesome. It's right by my haunt.
The trifecta.
But yeah, when there was no traffic, I mean, I think it took me like 9 minutes to get there. So for me, it was so perfect.
Sure.
So yeah, I was living there, and like I said, for me, it's like a playground, and I just can't get enough of it. Just like everyone else that's there, they're a Halloween enthusiast, as am I. You can see behind me. I definitely build Halloween displays, and I also, have Halloween displays even in my home. And I have just an incredible time. And for me too, I have my haunt, which we could talk about in a second, but I'm more so focused on the show. For years I would go and I would film lives for my social media, and I'd run around, I'd capture all these great moments, and I would, sometimes cut them up for my lives, and I'd post them and they'd go viral, and people would say, who are these people? And I because I was live, I was running around and I wasn't interacting as much as I probably should have been with the actual scare actors and haunt owners and the prop makers and all those kinds of things, where this year I made it a point where I was going to go to all 3 shows, and I was going to really get to know everybody that I was filming and capture kind of like what you said, beautiful moments. Yeah. And it really has. I've shifted a lot of what I do on my social media to going to conventions, specifically those 3 in particular, and capturing these people that spend 20 plus hours getting ready.
Oh yeah.
In a whole year working on a costume. And for me, it's turned into this weird collection. Yeah. Some people collect action figures, some people collect baseball cards. I'm collecting these moments in time, like they're action figures with these haunt actors and people at these shows that are, that create props and are doing things. And I myself am very much a haunt actor. I probably have the most views on social media across all platforms of me haunt acting. You maybe just don't know it's me, but I dress like Pennywise and Freddy Krueger at my haunt, and Otis, which you can see him behind me actually from House of a Thousand Corpses. And I probably have on record the most like million+ viewed videos of any haunt actor ever. And I know how to capture those moments. And now I'm using like the skills that I developed for my haunt with all these like unbelievable actors that in my opinion don't know how to promote themselves correctly.
Sure.
And so just over the past year, just the past 6 months, really, I've been able to like really blow some people up by capturing them and putting them out there in the correct light on my platform and then blowing their platform up. And that's been really, for me, if you can't tell, I'm very excited to be here because that's been the most rewarding part. I wanted to kind of talk to everybody about and share, my gratitude to all the different haunt actors because it's been awesome.
Well, and the products are wonderful. It's haunters helping haunters. And if you can help someone who has that passion, who has that desire, and like you said, 20 hours, that may be even light on some of people's, creation when they're working on these for weeks or even months, and they just want the world to see that. Maybe they don't know how to do that right. You're able to help give them that gift.
Yeah. And in return, they're giving me like, it's weird. It's like, it's almost like a creepy movie, where like what was that movie where like I forget, it was this group of people, they didn't want their pictures taken because they felt like somebody was like taking a part of their soul. I'm definitely not taking anyone's souls, but I'm capturing that moment. Like all these different actors, when I watch these videos and I find myself watching my own content, just like flipping through it, my wife's like, are you watching your own videos? I'm like, yes, I am. Because I caught a piece of this person that they'll never be able to recreate. They can maybe redo that costume, but it will never be the same way it was right then in that moment.
That's right.
And for me, there's just something so like poetic about that. And I can't get enough, man. And so, yeah, I was all over the show. I was everywhere.
Yes.
For me, every time I left, whether it was the first day, the costume party, the second day, every time I was walking to the car, I was like, I could have done more. I could have got more. I saw this person, I didn't get them, and I wanted to do it so bad. There's so many different people I saw, and I was like trying to get to them. And it was almost tough because I also know a lot of people there, and I would stop and I would talk, and then I would start getting anxious. Like, I want to keep talking to you because I love you. But at the same time, everyone's wrapping up over there, and I got to get them before they go. And that's the thing, too, is sometimes, look, it's really hard being at these shows and being on your feet all day long and scaring people. So towards the end of the show, people don't have the same juice. They don't have the same energy. They just spent all that time getting ready, now scaring people. Now they're worn out. So it's like you got to, like, really, like, when it's early is when I'm especially running. But you can see the performances on my page, and I try to thank everybody. If there's anybody I ever miss or anything like that, please hit me up. I'll get it in there right away.
Sure.
We'll get you your credit. But I really do try to capture unbelievable moments.
Well, and we want to thank you too as well, because most of us, any of the exhibitors, any of the staff, anybody, the attendees, you can't be everywhere. And so for some of us that never got to see, it's like, oh, cool, he captured that. That guy looked cool. I wish I could have seen him, type of thing. And so we get to live in some of those moments that you helped capture, and we get to enjoy that show even more, even though we had a great time with whatever we viewed personally. Now we got to see it from your perspective as well. And that's just magic.
Yeah, well, thank you. And also one of the next kind of things I started doing in just sort of on accident with East Coast Haunters is highlighting the vendors. And for me, it's like a huge benefit for everybody because, hey, listen, I get access to the floor in ways not everybody does. And I thought as a way to maybe pay back, Jen and of course the show is, why not try to also blow up some of these vendors and make kind of like commercials for them, because I'm doing it anyway. It's not that hard. Right. At least I know how to do it. So I actually filmed some really great stuff with Creature Cosplay, who's a newer vendor, I think, for you guys. It's really cool shoes. Scary Gorgeous made those purses. I don't know if you saw those purses, like art and Beetlejuice and stuff. Insane. Those are so cool. And then what I know, I'm going to make a really cool one of Pumpkin Rot, one of my fellow Chicago Haunt Builder members, who also has an awesome haunt. And then, and of course, also just getting to take pictures with people that I follow is always really cool, and getting to run into people that I follow. Because like I love this stuff, man. I'm very passionate and I watch it all, and I go, oh my, I know you. And sometimes somebody's following me and I'm already following them and we didn't even like kind of know it. And I'm like, oh, you're that. Oh my God. Cause they're in costume, so you don't always know who they are either. And I'm like, oh, you follow me. I'm like, well, I follow you. I know you. And then it's kind of an exciting moment, and there's a lot of hugs. There's a lot of hugs. And
Always hugs.
And like, can I just say too, like, cause I see thousands of comments on social media and I have to, and I'm kind of like a pro at that kind of stuff. I know how to navigate it. I know how to handle it. But like a lot of people might say like, wow, these people are freaky. These people are scary. Oh my God. The people that go to these shows are probably some of the best people walking earth today because
Amen.
And it's in like kind of their nature. Think about the people that are putting on home haunts. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Think about the people that want to entertain you. Think about the people that want to, make you feel alive. Naturally, those people, and I kind of just realized this the other day, those people are just going to be, they're good people. And
yeah.
the second I walk into that show, I feel like I'm at home, especially Midwest Haunter in particular. I feel like I'm at home. And it's just the hardest part is when it ends, man.
Yeah. By far. Now, all of this started for you back in '98 when you guys started your home haunt. Tell us about why and what made you do it.
I'll be honest, dude. It was before that. It was probably like '92, and I was a little boy. So it all started for me. There was this guy in this town called Lombard out here in the west suburbs that did this insane home haunt, and he had King Kong on his roof holding a Barbie in his garage. He had a walkthrough, and he had the Crypt Keeper at that time. Tales from the Crypt was huge.
Of course,
and I'll never forget. He must have built it himself. It was an animatronic. It was him as a doctor chopping people up. And I'm a little boy at this time. At that time I was 7, 8 years old, and man, it was just incredible. And so when I was on my way home, we were on our way home. I can't remember who asked me, like, what'd you think, Chris? I'm like, I loved it. I wish we would do that. I was like, but Dad's too lazy. He'd never do that. My dad got very offended that I said that. And he was like, all right, you little shit. Let's do it. And my dad like forced me. He said, no, you said I'm not lazy. We're building a home haunt. I'm going to build the biggest, coolest one ever. And then it kind of grew from there. And so in Lombard, we built really cool ones. And then they got more elaborate when we moved to a town called Glen Ellen. People weren't that into it though. For some reason, it's kind of where my house was placed. It was on a busy street.
Sure.
But we always did it. And then my family, we moved to Bensonville, where we're at now.
Okay.
And because it was the first year we moved here, in my opinion, we built sort of a half-ass Halloween display for our standards. And dude, we got like 400 trick-or-treaters that year. And I was like, you guys like this much? Really? I was embraced by this town. I can't even explain to you the way I've been embraced. I've been given a key to the city. I can't tell you like the love that I've gotten from my people. And I said, well, if you really like that one, I'll go all out. And then I built another one the following year, and that one went pretty viral. That was the first time I went viral. That was like 2017.
Okay.
I built these Chucky boxes, and that was the first year I built Chucky boxes. And that went pretty viral. And the rest is kind of in history, to the point where it's gone so viral in some years that in 2020, it got extremely unsafe in front of my house, even with the village helping me out. And they said, look, Chris, we love this. It's a huge part of the community now. We'd like to, we can't do it in front of your house anymore, though. It's just not safe. Because, dude, it turned into insane gridlock. Like cars were like touching front bumpers in front of my house. Yes. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. So the mayor of my town came to me and said, Chris, I love this. I want to keep it going. Can we move it to the downtown area? And that's where we build our display now in downtown Bensonville, next to Village Hall. And it's one of the most unique Halloween experiences you could possibly have. It's not quite as good as a haunted house, but it's the next level up. It's like a Halloween festival. That's how I like to describe it.
Okay.
It's free to come. We just ask that you bring a good attitude. That's it.
That's good.
Be respectful. And that's all we ask for return. It's free to park. It's free to come. The town now has brought in food vendors, local vendors. So you can really make a night of it. And it's an awesome experience, an awesome time. And we have different theme nights. If you follow along, we're going to have some theme nights this year, and it's going to be really cool.
Very exciting. I know Robert's putting the links up in the chat right now, so you can go check it out. Obviously, you guys are on Facebook and have your own website, of course, the WilkesFamilyHalloween.com.
This is us. Yes.
What? Okay, so now, all right, so you've gotten a chance to catalog MHC, and certainly this is not your first, but as a home haunter and now a party guy, what are you bringing? What are you taking away from MHC? Did you buy anything that you're adding to this year's show?
Oh, yeah. Oh, here on.
I love it. I love it.
Very, very excited because I've been wanting one of these bad boys for a minute.
Oh, we've got like the unboxing here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Very nice.
I might have to charge it. Oh,
there we go.
My wife's gonna be like, kids are sleeping.
They come on. They know their dad. Come on.
I know. I brought it home right away, and I was like, my little boy did something bad. I was like, come here. I did it at him. Freaked out. He had a whole meltdown.
I love it. I love it.
Now he wants to do it at school. And so no, So look, there's all kinds of incredible stuff to get there. For me, if I'm being totally honest, just to kind of get back to Illumibot guy, what's his name?
Ross.
He said it best.
Yeah.
The connections.
Absolutely.
So, for example, last year, one of my biggest characters at my haunt right now is Zombie Michael Myers.
Okay.
And he's incredible. I don't know if you saw him wandering around the show. Dude is incredible.
Yeah.
And he's actually a trained haunt actor. He was actually at Six Flags for a long time.
Okay.
But they were like, they have copyright issues.
Sure.
There's some money to get in. Mine's free, so I don't have copyright issues. But he was like, I really want to use this character. Could I use it at your thing? I'm like, yeah, sure. And we wound up becoming really good friends. But we met last year when I was live on TikTok, walking around Midwest Haunter, and he grabbed me and started choking me. And I'm like, this dude's amazing. But again, I didn't get his info because I was live. I was running around. I wanted to see him at another convention. And I'm like, you come here. We have to talk. And the rest is history. We spent all October together, and we meet up at shows, and we walk around. And he's kind of turned into my mascot of my haunt, and he's phenomenal. But that all happened because of Midwest Haunter Convention. And that's actually where, and I run into a lot of different cosplayers where I tell them, hey, listen, I can't pay you. It's a volunteer thing. We're 100, but I can definitely get you publicity, and you will get a lot of attention at my haunt. And if so many people do this just because they love it, and
absolutely,
what better place to do it than a place like mine where it's like a free event and there's just thousands of people coming, and it's very transient. People come, people go. And there's just a new batch of people to scare like every 10 minutes. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, there's just so many things I love about Midwest Haunters. There's just so many things. It's really in all the shows. Because dude, TransWorld, oh my gosh, dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's insane. East Coast Haunter, I didn't know what to expect. Completely different vibe. So much fun. Again, I like to brag about the Midwest hospitality and how great, our people are in this region. Dude, and East Coast, I'm in sales. I make a lot of calls at the East Coast. Sometimes I'm like, well, we're a little grumpy in the East Coast. Couldn't have been nicer. And you know who I met there too? I met so many people, but one in particular that I've always wanted to meet, and it's on my bucket list, is the huge haunt in the woods, Haunted Overload.
Yes.
I met them at East Coast, dude.
Oh, epic.
I gotta get out there. There's so much I want to do, but that one is like at the top of my list.
It's crazy. It makes you feel so small because their sets are 50+ feet and they're all outside.
And like that's my dream. Like if that guy kind of is living my dream, like that's in my life. I would love to have that.
We need to make that happen. I think we can help make that happen.
Get out there and go, man. Well, it's hard with my haunt because it's like, how the hell am I going to leave my haunt? And that's what I think is a little bit of a bummer about my haunt is, dude, there were a few weekends I couldn't dress up last year because it's getting so big. It needs like a manager. I know. I'm not going to be a manager, but I like scaring people, Well,
dude, we got to make it out there. WilkesFamilyHalloween.com. It's just outside of Chicago in Bensonville. Come see it. Are you guys open the whole season of Halloween? Or
we open the last weekend of September.
Okay.
And then every Friday, Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. is live actors. And that's when everyone really wants to come. But if you don't like the live actors, you have small kids, you can come. It's open every day. It's open every day. The lights turn off at like 9, 10-ish, depending on the day. And it's for you come enjoy.
I have an idea. I think we need to catch up with you in the season here. We'll come out, we'll do a segment live from the grounds and show people everything that you guys got going.
Oh shit, man. So one of the big things that I'm building this year is a stage.
Beautiful. Okay.
That's what I've sunk almost all my time into this year to add a new thing to the haunt.
Okay.
Dude, maybe you could do a live. Dude, if you want to do a live from my haunt,
we could do it.
I could put a stage. I got a stage. I got actors. Might be a lot of fun, man.
It sounds like we're ready to go. See, we're primed already. So it's such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure seeing you. And literally, it was a blur because you were working, but as we all were. But it was wonderful to see the content. I thought that I got to the bottom of your reels, and then I'm like, no, there's like 100 more, and it's awesome because there's capturing so many moments. So I know we're talking about WilkesFamilyHalloween.com, but also check out your Facebook, your Instagram pages.
Yeah, the website's kind of lame, actually. Really, you want to go to Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Those are the three that I really pump all my time into. I'm trying to get YouTube going. We do have some long form content on there, but it's really hard to keep up with all this stuff because I do have a job. A lot of people think I do this for a living or something, and this is strictly a hobby. I just love doing it, and it's a lot of fun. And in my haunt too, I make no money off that. People are always like, "How do you do this?" And I'm like, "Because I love it. Okay?
It's passion. It's art.
And if we get money involved in it, it'll be ruined." Okay,
exactly.
So I don't want any donations. I don't want anything from anybody. Just have a good time. Enjoy it while it lasts. Okay, that's my message about that. But I will say I have so much content from Midwest. I'm trying to release 2 videos a day, but I probably have enough content all the way through. I'll probably be releasing Midwest Haunter content all the way through July, the end of July.
See, this is going to keep our summer going. Okay.
Oh, for sure. Dude, I just got done with East Coast, and I still have a little bit.
Love this.
Yeah. So this is going to and then once that ends, I got to start pumping out all my content from the haunt.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot on this one, and it's not to single out anybody, but was there one specific actor or actress that was a lot of fun to work with that you just want to call out, maybe?
So since we already mentioned, I think it's Rochelle who had the beekeeper costume, which is pretty viral video.
Oh, she's crazy.
God, there's so many, man. Like it is really hard because I'm gonna have to mention just from some of the stuff I released recently. And I got a lot of footage of this kid from 5 Point Haunts, which, by the way, I did want to say, how freaking awesome was their booth?
Oh my gosh,
they're a newer haunt, man, and they're bringing it. I guarantee you, they just changed the game, and you're gonna see every other haunted house step up their game as far as their booth goes next year in the pit. Yeah, because. Dude, they changed the game. But yes, I was just going to bring you up as the mermaid. I just released that video. You were one of the people I wanted to bring up. And of course, this kid, his name, he was the bat in the garbage can. And he was also the scary doctor guy with his teeth out like that.
Yes.
So much content of him. And I have his video up in front of me. I'm looking at that. Dude, it's hard to put me on the spot like this because there's so many. I know. You go with the fan in her neck. This kid is insane.
It is. It's like picking your favorite child. I mean, they're all your products,
dude. And that's the thing. I keep collecting these interactions where I'm like it's almost like they're my action figures or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like all these videos I make, I feel like I just keep adding to my collection. And that's my goal. It's just so hard to film this stuff, edit it, and then pump it out like I am.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm going to start making playlists.
Okay.
And categorizing them and doing all that. That's kind of another one of my big goals.
Well, we love it. Wilkes Family Halloween. Look at it on all the social medias. You will not be bored. I promise you. It's exactly
every day. Like I said, I'm really the goal is 2 videos a day.
Which is awesome. And thank you for doing that for all of us. And go out and support Chris and his family this upcoming season. We'll hang out and we'll make some magic. So
if you come to the haunt and if you see anybody destroying it or breaking anything, if you could ask them not to, that's all. That's the only way you can really support me. That's what
Haunters helping hoppers. Chris, it's a pleasure. Before we go, anything else you want to say?
Thank you guys so much for having me. It's a great honor, and I will make you proud if you keep letting me come.
Oh my gosh, dude! It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, and I promise you, we'll have to do some more in the near future. All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Guys, we're not even close to done. We've got another Chris. This is the night of 3 Chris's, which is wonderful. Super excited about that. Rich mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show about some crazy, amazing tombstones, and you definitely saw them on the floor. I'm sure Chris Wilkes captured them, but TransWorld Live, help me in welcoming the other Chris, the third Chris Strahan from Screamfest Studios. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going there? Yeah, I'm last in line. That's just because I'm the oldest. So that's why.
I love it. I love it. Best looking, of course.
Well, yeah, that, and I also go to bed earlier. So, just letting you know. That's all.
Fair enough. Your tombstones, crazy. I've seen them on so many different social media with people, posing in front of them. And Rich just talked about him. You guys kind of took the world by storm here. Tell us everything that is to know about Screamfest Studios.
Sure. Well, I appreciate the comment. I think the biggest thing that we kind of bring to the game is our tombstones basically have 3 basic elements to them. 1, they're realistic, as you can clearly see kind of behind me. 2, they're rugged, which is something that I haven't seen yet even brought to the table yet, whether that be wind, hail, snow. Other clients to get a little rowdy out. They're rugged and ready to be outside, and they're weatherproof. So that's kind of the other thing that we kind of bring to the table. I think in Chicago, one of the biggest questions I had was, hey, it's a little windy here in Chicago. How do you keep these things, from blowing away? And we've got ways to keep these things from moving around in the wind. The whole avenue is to be able to put these things out at the beginning of the season and let it go. You don't have to bring them in for anything. Living here in North Carolina, I think the biggest thing that I learned for having a home haunt for several years is that I got tired in October of putting everything out, taking everything back in, putting it out, taking it back in. And it got old because the weather here was just nuts. That was our rainy or even sometimes hurricane season. And so the idea was to develop something that we could put out, leave out, and not have to worry about it. So this is kind of the accumulation of all of our ideas and things that have come along. And so I'm pretty happy with what we've got. I mean, we're always learning and changing and trying to bring new things to the table, even though you may not realize what they are. But the idea is to have something realistic. And I think we've done a pretty good job.
Oh, I definitely concur. I mean, the pictures that we're seeing right now, I don't think they do it justice. When you see them, when you feel them in person, it's completely different. But I mean, these things are sturdy and larger. They're just large and going to stand up to everything.
Yeah. The one you have there on the screen is our Mega Cross. And it was very hard to find a way to put that thing into scale. The thing is over 9 feet tall. And it is very heavy. It's designed to be out in the weather, just like any of them. So that one's built a little differently with steel components inside of it, different coatings on the outside. So it is one of our, I don't know how you call it. I guess one of our most pristine projects that we've done here in the last few years. And we're happy to not have to take any of them back home after Midwest Honors Convention. So that was a big bonus right there.
That's a sign of great things. Especially a lot of our audience here, has some sort of weather, whether it be that hurricane touch and lots of, rain season, or they get all that white stuff. Certainly in the Chicagoland area, in the Midwest, even in the Northeast, obviously you're always fighting snow, and no home haunter has, an unlimited budget. So when you buy stuff, you want it to last. You want it to be able to stand up to all the elements and maybe get more than one season out of it. And just prior to the show, so many people were reaching out and just talking about, this is that product. Yeah. This is the one that will stand up.
Yeah, very true. We've really tried to capture that because of the avenue of, again, I was a home haunter, so it was like, yeah, I can't spend all my money in the world on high-end products, but then again, something from, a Spirit type store and lasting, if you're lucky, a year was not going to cut it. And I try to, this year specifically, be very budget conscious and trying to help bring these prices down a little bit. I know the economy is a little tight for some people this year, so we really try to be really budget friendly and bring some of our prices down so that people can afford them and take them home. Because we want to have those things go out the door and be in your guys' haunts and or yard displays or wherever they're at, and be proud of what you're displaying. It says a lot about me as far as trying to build the best thing out there. But we really try and get these things out and about to people. And one thing I will mention, you're showing right now a very famous piece that's pretty taken off pretty quickly here, and that's our Jason Voorhees tribute tombstone. The idea with this one was originally we had a client that we made this for, and I thought, let me just make a couple of these and we'll take it to East Coast Haunters Convention. And it 20 minutes and the thing was gone. It was just people walking the door and went, I need that, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's just like, wow, maybe that is so it's, we try to make these things again affordable for people, because it's just, I mean, I've been in the same boat. I know how it works. So there you go.
No, I love it. I love it. Now, okay, we are showing obviously the ones that are larger than life, but you do make them of all sizes. And the big question that we've been getting in the chat, actually, and a couple of texts, to be quite honest, is can people reach out to do custom projects?
Yes. We that's kind of one of our specialties, is doing custom tombstones. I don't really like doing the exact same thing over and over again. Take an example, a Judith Myers tombstone, where it truly is a tribute piece. They want a replica of what they saw in the movie. Yeah, we can stamp those out. Great, not a problem. But if you're ordering, as an example, the Jason Voorhees tombstone that you see out there, I want to vary it slightly to each individual piece, because that means you're not going to see the exact same thing at each and every place that you may go to. So the Jason Voorhees, the one, well, you're showing my booth now, so you get a good close-up look, and you can see the different Jason Voorhees pieces there. Ooh, there's a mouthful. So we try and do a lot of one-off pieces, and so custom orders are just right up our alley. And we have a website where we have it's kind of more or less a presence. Yeah, certainly there's things you can order and buy, but we really like to focus on, hey, yeah, I want to do this for my haunt, and I've got this idea of, let's say, I want to have like a Spanish cemetery, and I want to have, the lighting is always coming from the east or the west or whatever, and so we'll put moss on one side, or we can do damage over here. Whatever you want to try and create and capture at your haunt, it's my job to get that interpreted and then get it back out to you. So we really focus on that. So yes, we absolutely do custom work.
Love that. I mean, and we're showing images. Robert's got them up right now. Even Shannon Hops, our famous Shannon Hops, she was just talking about how she was so excited to walk by the booth and just see everything, and it was gone. There was so much that was gone already. It was sold.
Yeah. We were incredibly blessed. We had some great people show up and wanted to buy some of our work, and we had pretty much an empty trailer going home, which is incredibly nice. We packed it full coming out, and the Chicago roads just about damaged it all. No, but yeah, it was great. It was an awesome feeling to know that people really did like our work, and that they wanted to have it at their haunt and their home display. So you saw some of my stress skulls there. These are something that's really taking off recently. And so we generated these or created these a couple of years ago, and started off at East Coast Haunters Convention, and mercy, we sold the heck out of these crazy things. There you go. There's the video of it. We have these in several different colors. We can actually do them in black light as well, where you can get the black light reactive colors, which are pretty cool. So we've been able to add that, and let me tell you, those things have just originally, it was a gimmick, right? I wanted to get people to my booth, and here's how we're going to tell tombstones. We got to get something that'll get their attention, and lo and behold, is that a bath bomb? Is that a candle? And then I'll squish it, and their minds just get blown. They're like,
yes,
what? I gotta have some of that. So it's been a surprise product that we've made that has been pretty cool to see just take off.
I love it. It's called a stress skull, and people are commenting it right now about how awesome it is. Look at that. It's beautiful. It's like a sponge.
Yeah, and it fits perfectly in your hand too. It's great.
I love this because running a haunted house and acting, it's not stressful at all, so you need a skull to squeeze it away.
Well, the other thing too, you can relieve stress by throwing it too. I'm just going to say.
See, and it doesn't damage all of your high-end props, so it's beautiful.
Bingo.
Now, big question. Do you guys do any sort of like bulk orders? Like if a haunt wanted to do them as a promotional item, maybe they wanted a couple thousand.
Yeah, we have just started diving into the bulk orders. We've gotten a couple orders for that. So it is possible, absolutely. Obviously, the best way to order any of our stuff realistically is to reach out to us via email. And I think that's been put out there. And so just just contact us this way. We can work one-on-one on what you're looking for, what you're expecting, and see if we can't meet those needs for you.
Love this. Love this. Obviously, you've been around the industry a long time, and we've gotten a chance to celebrate some shows with you this year as we close out MHC 2025. What thoughts, what ending kind of encapsulating thoughts might you have about the show and about how successful it was for you and just to see everybody there?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of the great reasons I love going to the shows is not only because, great, we get to show off our display, our work that we've done for the year, but it's also a great opportunity to see all of our friends. I mean, it's there's, oh man, I haven't seen so-and-so in person in so long, or it's great to catch up with so-and-so. And then meeting new people. This time around, we got to meet some great people from See You Scared and the Halloween T-shirt, which we just hadn't had an opportunity to network before. So that was an absolutely fantastic opportunity to meet those people. So we look forward to that a lot, and we really look forward to the future with some of these shows as well. This was our first year of vending at MHC. We'd attended before in the past, so it was great to see the results. We did actually a little better there than we did at East Coast Haunters, which I clearly was not expecting, but it was a great welcome surprise. And so we've already put that plug out to Rich. Hey, hook me up for next year. We'll be there. And so, I'm looking forward to the future with these shows.
Love that. Love that. Well, we're grateful you're here. Robert just posted the link, but it's screamfeststudios.com. I know you've got a beautiful gallery of every tombstone that you guys are doing. Of course, reach out for custom projects and reach out for some of those stress skulls anytime you need a squeeze.
That's right.
Love it. Love it. Chris, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a very busy summer because you're just filled to the brim with orders.
We are. We're actually booked for 2025 at this point. So that's a good thing. We're excited. Right. So it's going to be a challenge to get orders ready to go for the trade shows in 2026.
Well, we can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great summer. And we appreciate you. We'll catch up with you early 26 to see how things are going.
I'd appreciate that. And again, thank you for having me on. We appreciate the opportunity.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, this is the end of the road for us this year, for this season. This is unfortunately our last. This is our season finale, if you will. We're so honored on behalf of Robert, myself, Jen, Rich, and everybody that puts the show together. It's such a pleasure to do this for you every Tuesday night, or maybe Wednesdays and Thursdays too. We had the opportunity this season to do 34 different episodes for you, and of course a number of live episodes and issues from around all of the trade shows. And so we're so grateful that we get to spend our time with you, because if we don't do this with you, there's nobody to do it for. So we're grateful for all your interactivity, for your comments, for your chats, for people when they reach out and they just say, hey, I like this, or thanks for doing that. Special comments, of course, to those that always show up every week. And I know if I start mentioning folks, I'm going to leave somebody out. So I don't want to do that. And I'm just grateful. Thanks for hanging out with us and bringing us into your homes or your cars or wherever you watch us. We appreciate you. And that gives us the motivation and the excitement to continue to produce this content and bring it to you guys every week, to celebrate our haunt family, to celebrate our industry. we're just lucky, and we're very, very excited to do that with you guys. So thank you so much for having us. We were going to have Philip Hernandez tonight to close us out from Haunted Attraction Network, but we did end up running a little bit long, so he wasn't able to make it tonight. But Philip has been an amazing supporter and has produced amazing content from all of our trade shows as well. So we want to give him a lot of credit, and he also helped put together that tribute for Ed. So we're so grateful for that. Thank you. On behalf of all of us, we appreciate you. Have a great summer. We will be back in September, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get any news or updates or anything from us throughout the summer. So make sure you watch that. Of course, Rich mentioned, go to Legendary Haunt Tour. We will be there to help celebrate, and we will be back in September to talk. But last but not least here, tomorrow's Friday the 13th. So go out and celebrate and support your local haunted house that's opening. They definitely need it. And there's only two Friday the 13th this year. So please, happy Father's Day to all of our fathers. We hope you guys have a great day. And